Tony, one of the things that occurs a lot is guys have favorite moves in tournaments. And you might be a half guard guy, you might be a triangle guy, and suddenly that move, your move, doesn't work in the tournament. And then all of a sudden you get brain lock. So tell about your experience and that kind of coaching.
One of the things we always talked about is reinventing yourself every fight. If you're getting good enough, people have tape on you. And so what they're training for is they're training for the tape, the guy in the tape. One of my favorite maxims, we've been using it for 20 years now, is are you training for your next fight, or are you training for your last fight? And what that means is, if you win a fight with spectacular fashion, if you win a fight where you did some move that made you legendary in the gym, that's the move you fixate on, that becomes your favorite move. So what you're really training for is your last fight, because it was based on that success. Then conversely, if you lose your last fight, then what happens is you're probably overtraining and overthinking about that same move. And then what invariably ends up happening is you're training for your last fight. So in both cases there, if you're fixating because of a loss, you're thinking about your last fight. If you're fixating on the move that allowed you to win it, you're fixating on your last fight. And what I always tell fighters, you got to reinvent yourself, because the guy who's preparing for you is getting whatever intel he can on what's this guy's favorite move. So it brings us to this favorite move and that brain lock on that stuff. So I always like to ask guys philosophically that you can't have a favorite move, because your favorite move might trigger my best counter. If you figure, so if your favorite move is a headbutt, and let's talk about just to take it out of the jiu-jitsu world and go into street fight. Your favorite move is a headbutt, and you get in a fight with a guy on a motorcycle with a full face helmet. Where do you go? So suddenly you're like, you don't know what to do. Your favorite move is a shin kick, and you're getting in a fight with your neighbor who put up a fence 1 inch on your property, and you want to kick him, but there's a fence there. And these are of course cartoony jokes, but the metaphor is you can't have a favorite move. The way you train should be, I'm going to beat this guy, and I'll beat him accidentally or incidentally. What do I mean by, he made a mistake, boom, and I nailed him because I have a diverse arsenal. And then everything's incidental because you went in there, you're better conditioned, better mindset, better coached, and it didn't matter. This is just my path. So it's okay to have a favorite move, but it can't be your only move, and it could be the one that you just happen to have a metacognitive awareness of how people move and how you can catch a guy with it. But if that's the only thing you got, we talk about different fighters and we say you got to stay away from this move or that move. I had this. You remember Phil Hughes when he fought for his title fight? The guy he was fighting had ankle locks, legendary ankle locks, and ground and pound. And what I did with Phil is I had after class I had 30 students just mount him. He'd put on a high gear helmet, and everyone just had to try and punch his face in. It was like you got bonus points if you made him stop, made him turn, made him cover. We stress inoculated him so much to it for that when J.F. Bolduc mounted Phil, he just wrapped him up. There was no fear in Phil's eyes. There was nothing, but he totally, and tie this back to jiu-jitsu. Well, Phil was a inferior fighter. He ended up winning because he mentally and physically gassed the champ, because the champ kept on groping for his favorite moves, and nothing was happening because Phil was too prepared with the counter. So, don't have a favorite move. If you do have a favorite move, it should be accidental or incidental to the outcome of the fight. And always remember that your best move might trigger your opponent's best counter. So you've got to have a way around that.